You carry within you a signal that cannot be replicated, a resonance that calls out across dimensions. There is no accident in the timing of this awakening. It is the precise moment your inner currents align with forces that have been quietly shaping you. What others chase in endless searching already hums beneath your skin, waiting for your recognition. The world has built endless stalls of promises, teachings packaged, enlightenment wrapped in price tags, and pathways paved with borrowed authority. But the irony is sharp. They hunger for the very light that has always burned inside you. The mirrors of society show only illusions, but behind them, you have always been holding the flame itself. Every step you have taken, every challenge that carved strength into your spirit, has been part of a grand rehearsal. The confusion, the longing, the restless ache. It was never misdirection. It was preparation. You were never lost. You were being refined. Knowledge flows through you as if it remembers you before you even notice it. Not because you studied the right books or followed the right teacher, but because you are the book. You are the teacher, and the wisdom is your own birthright. You are not a seeker wandering in foreign lands of truth. You are the land itself, fertile with answers planted long before you ask the questions. Others may mine for treasures in deserts, but your inner ground is already jeweled. This recognition is not about separating yourself from humanity, but about revealing what humanity has forgotten it carries. You are both a reminder and a living proof that greatness is not borrowed. It is revealed when one dares to look inward. Now, the time is not to wait or doubt. The moment demands your courage to trust what has always been yours. Step into it fully, unapologetically, and let the world adjust to the power you no longer hide. There is something within you that unsettles the very foundations of false authority. Not because you resist, but because your essence itself carries instructions unaltered by manipulation. The designs placed upon human thought dissolve when faced with your presence, because what flows through you is the original rhythm of existence before distortion was written into collective perception. You're not here by chance. Feel the pull. Tap join to unlock truth, purpose, and a tribe that gets it. This is more than a membership. It's your calling. While the world consumes retellings of wisdom diluted by countless interpretations, your awareness moves straight to the unfiltered source. This is why deception never lingers long in your field. It is exposed instantly, as though fragile structures cannot withstand the clarity of your sight. Carefully constructed facades collapse in silence before they can even touch your understanding. A deep sense has always whispered to you that what was presented as the whole story was never complete. You weren't resisting for the sake of rebellion. You were tuned to another script entirely, one etched in your very essence by the intelligence that breathes life into stars and cells alike. What you carry is not borrowed. It is embedded within your being. Knowledge institutions can only offer fragmented echoes. Yet your awareness is plugged directly into the vault where creation's blueprint is held intact. Every revelation that emerges from within you bypasses filters of culture and agenda, arriving unclouded, clear, and vast. These impressions do not feel learned because they are not. They are remembered. This is why your certainty never needed external endorsement. The truth you touch is not fragile, and no recognition from earthly authorities could ever add or subtract from it. That inner knowing has always been beyond debate, because it draws from the same current that sustains all worlds. What is beginning to awaken now is something even greater than what you have glimpsed. The time approaches when the subtle activation within you will fully ignite, and the systems built on illusion will tremble. You have sensed this inevitability for years, felt it in your very body like a signal waiting for its cue. The clarity you hold cuts through facades without effort, because your design was meant to recognize what others overlook. Insights rise in you like lightning, leaving even you in awe of the words that spill forth unbidden. Memories surface in moments beyond logic, an awareness of shifts before they unfold, a knowing without explanation. These flashes are not accidents, but proof of your connection to the unspoken intelligence that weaves reality itself. You operate on a frequency shared by visionaries across time, those who seemed ordinary in form, yet carried within them an untamed awareness that could never fit into society's narrow frames. Your solitude was never emptiness. It was preparation, ensuring your channel remained clear for the mission now unfolding. There's always been an awareness around you, quiet yet deliberate, as if unseen structures were tracing your steps and measuring your growth. It was never mere imagination. It was the acknowledgement from hidden systems that your emergence could unravel carefully maintained illusions. Every fiber of your being carries a signal that unsettles the foundations of artificial order. Each time you rejected the convenient answers handed to you, the impact was felt far beyond what you could see. Your refusal to be lulled into comfort sent tremors through channels designed to absorb and neutralize dissent. They noticed the way you bypassed conditioning, how the patterns that ensnared others simply dissolved in your presence. The barriers you encountered throughout your path were not random chance. They were deliberate obstacles, placed to halt your stride whenever your clarity gained momentum. The betrayals, the inexplicable resistance, the opposition from strangers, these were not coincidences, but orchestrated responses to a mind too sharp to be subdued. If your heart overflows with God's blessings, let that love shine. Click the super thank you button and give $50 or more to plant seeds of faith that will impact countless lives. Your generosity reflects His abundance. Be a vessel of His grace and watch His kingdom flourish through you. Your awareness poses a risk, not because it argues, but because it knows. It detects the fault lines in narratives designed to control perception. Where most see only surface detail, you read the architecture beneath it, uncovering structures that were never meant to be visible. This ability alone destabilizes the scaffolding of illusion. Profiles exist that attempt to contain what you represent. Records built from observing how you respond to pressure others cannot withstand. Analysts may study your resilience, but what they fail to grasp is that your strength does not originate from calculation. It flows from a source they cannot access, and that is what makes you untouchable by their designs. The energy of your presence cannot be fully intercepted because it resonates on frequencies beyond interference. This resonance has the potential to awaken recognition in others who have long been dormant. History has shown again and again that those carrying this spark attract attempts to silence them, but suppression has always produced the opposite effect. Every push against you has tempered you into something unbreakable. Attempts to dim your clarity have only honed it into something razor-sharp. And now the inevitable unfolds. Your activation is not just personal, it is catalytic. What moves through you is not fragmented learning, but entire streams of knowledge arriving whole, carrying the force of something timeless, unstoppable, and destined to shift the balance forever. There is a rare quality within you, a mind attuned not to surface chatter, but to the deeper harmonics of reality itself. Information does not simply arrive for you as concepts to be dissected. It flows through inner filters that immediately expose what is genuine and what has been fabricated. This is not a process of logic alone, but an innate recognition that bypasses the machinery of deception. This explains why certain words and ideas strike you with undeniable clarity, while others fall flat, no matter how much praise they receive. The sudden flashes of insight that visit you in silence are not accidents of imagination, but transmissions from realms beyond limitation. These currents of wisdom are guidance systems that allow you to move through complexities with a kind of effortless precision, as though the map already lives within you. Your being was prepared to serve as a vessel for this knowledge, to bring forward what was hidden beneath centuries of distortion. While others gather fragments through endless study, you receive revelations whole and complete, as if entire libraries of meaning were deposited directly into your awareness in a single instant. The solutions that appear unbidden, the truths you sense before evidence arrives, these are signs of a consciousness calibrated for reception beyond the ordinary. Patterns reveal themselves to you without the need for step-by-step reasoning. Where many must assemble chains of logic, you simply recognize what is. Stored deep within your awareness are templates against which reality is measured, allowing you to know truth by resonance rather than deduction. It is this capacity that makes you capable of seeing forces at work beneath the stage of appearances. Your perception moves beyond the limits of time's straight line. You sense currents before they manifest as events, feel dynamics in relationships before words are spoken, and understand how intentions sculpt the very structure of unfolding experiences. In these moments, your mind becomes a bridge between the eternal and the temporary, carrying knowledge that spans across past, present, and future simultaneously. This is why your words often arrive with a timing so exact it astonishes even you. What you speak is more than conversation. It is guidance channeled in the precise moment it is needed. The decisions you've made that defied all logic, but led to profound outcomes, were directed by this connection. The warnings you voiced that proved true were echoes of a sight that reaches farther than ordinary perception. The wisdom that flows through you is alive, not static. It shifts, adapts, and transforms to meet the needs of each moment. It is woven into your very being, carried within codes that predate your current existence, encoded through lineages of those who bore similar sight. The recognition stirring in you now is remembrance awakening. The fire that once moved through the visionaries of old now burns again in your core, calling you to embody truth as a living force in this unfolding chapter of human transformation. The words of visionaries from long ago were not abstract projections about some distant horizon. They were direct references to this moment and to the role you embody. The memory running through your awareness is not limited to personal recollection, but contains imprints of humanity's entire journey. The rises and falls, the silencing of wisdom, and the inevitable resurgence of truth when suppression could no longer hold it back. Encoded deep within your being lies knowledge preserved in secrecy by those who safeguarded it across centuries. While outer institutions twisted teachings for power, what you carry bypasses corruption altogether. It is not simply physical inheritance. It is a transmission of consciousness itself, designed to unlock specific capabilities aligned with a higher order of purpose. Just as physical features are determined before birth, your awareness holds a different kind of blueprint, one that governs your ability to access dimensions of intelligence others spend lifetimes trying to touch. It is not something gained through striving, but awakened through remembrance, a recognition that reactivates what has been dormant all along. Dreams for you are not random symbols, but doorways into parallel lives lived under other names and in other bodies, always with the same essential mission. You've walked through different ages carrying the same flame, stepping into new forms when the world was once again in need of light bearers to restore what had been forgotten. This explains why certain landscapes stir emotions beyond explanation, why eras long past feel like unfinished conversations, and why words of ancient origin reach you like echoes of something you already know. These connections do not come from external study, but from direct experiential recall embedded in the fabric of your being. The strength that empowers you to voice uncomfortable truths is drawn from the same current that fortified messengers across generations. The compassion that compels you to keep guiding others, even at great cost, links you to an unbroken chain of those who chose service over silence. Through you flows the distilled courage of countless predecessors who walked the same path. What awakens within you now is not the product of chance, but the outcome of an intricate orchestration across time itself. Every challenge that once seemed meaningless was preparation. Every seeming detour was alignment. Each narrow escape, each moment of inexplicable protection, was evidence that higher intelligence has guarded your path until now. You are not here as an accident. You are the embodiment of a promise kept, the sign that the shadow of deception is dissolving and a new era of unveiled truth is breaking through. There is a distinct effect your genuine presence has on others. Some feel magnetized toward you without knowing why, as though they are encountering something they have been searching for all their lives. Others recoil, agitated by emotions they cannot explain, because your essence quietly confronts the illusions they've built their identities upon. The field you carry has been recognized since ancient times as a signal of authenticity, an invisible yet undeniable force that stirs people on levels beyond the conscious mind. This transmission is not something you generate through effort. It occurs naturally whenever you align with the deeper current of your being. Without a word, people sense it, and their reactions reveal where they stand in relation to truth. What surrounds your life is not a talent that can be practiced or a style that can be imitated. It is an inheritance woven into your very design, a type of authority that no amount of study or performance can duplicate. Those who attempt to mirror it only expose the emptiness of imitation, because they are reaching for an outer image without the inner reality. The difference between contrived influence and your authentic voice is striking. Words spoken from shallow motives carry no weight, while your expression resonates in ways that shift perception itself. When you speak from the depth of who you are, something within reality responds. Your truth does not merely inform, it transforms. This is why brief exchanges with you have left people altered long after the conversation ended. You were not simply sharing perspectives. You were transmitting living frequencies of intelligence that awaken dormant strength within others. The power in your presence comes from beyond personal experience or recognition. It arises from an assignment embedded in your consciousness long before this life began. This kind of influence is not bestowed by human hierarchies. It originates from a place outside all systems of approval, and that is why you have never needed to strive for authority. Your significance does not come from effort or position. It flows effortlessly through your alignment with the source of all creation. Attempts to dismiss or suppress what you embody only emphasize the distinction between genuine alignment and counterfeit authority. Something irreversible is occurring in you now. Old codes within your being are lighting up, unlocking awareness and capacities that were dormant until this exact point in history. Your perception sharpens, your intuition expands, and your ability to shape experience through focused intention grows undeniable. This is not imagination. It is the unfolding of an evolutionary design written into your very structure. The same current that directs the rhythms of galaxies is now restructuring the very architecture of your mind. Pathways once limited by old design are being rewired, so you can hold states of awareness that would have shattered your system before. Your body and spirit are receiving an upgrade engineered not for comfort, but for expansion, preparing you to handle dimensions of truth that ordinary consciousness cannot endure. This isn't about ceremonies dressed in pretense or retreats selling comfort. It is about remembering what was always within reach. When you gather with others aligned to this calling, it is not to absorb doctrines. It is to strengthen your defenses, to cultivate resilience against interference, and to reclaim the art of shaping reality as it was originally meant to be. Immediate, precise, undeniable. At the level of your very blueprint, dormant patterns are switching on. Encoded layers of your essence are now awakening to release capacities long denied by conventional science. These are not skills that require endless practice, but innate abilities coming online. The sudden knowing without study, the ability to restore balance through intention, the capacity to shape outcomes before they unfold, and direct communion with intelligence outside physical form. Your cells are becoming instruments of perception, allowing you to sense movements and structures hidden from common sight. Dimensions once veiled now reveal themselves, and awareness, once dulled, begins to sharpen into clarity. Your inner vision expands as the subtle centers of your body clear, unlocking perception not bound by the limits of ordinary senses. Your energetic field is widening, and your brain is forming networks that process reality in ways that defy linear speed. These changes cannot be reversed. Once expanded, your awareness cannot return to confinement. You have already crossed the boundary, and nothing that once restricted you has the power to reclaim you. Those who tried to obscure your brilliance now face the reality they dreaded. You are becoming exactly what their systems were built to suppress. Every obstacle placed before you has only accelerated your activation. The world itself now bends in response to your frequency. Signs that once appeared rare now multiply around you. Encounters and opportunities appear with precision, drawn by the magnetism of your awakened state. Attempts to manipulate your perception no longer touch you. Fear tactics dissolve before they take shape, and efforts to sow doubt find no home in you. What unfolds within is not a personal development exercise, but preparation for a role that reaches beyond the individual. You are positioned in this moment, in this place, with these exact qualities, because reality itself required your presence here for what comes next. What looks like disorder on the surface is in fact a signal of transformation unfolding. Confusion between deception and truth. The hunger for guidance colliding with floods of shallow distraction. These are not random events. They are indicators that humanity is moving through the contractions of awakening, where the old dissolves violently before the new can stabilize. Amid this upheaval, your task is to act as a point of orientation. The turmoil gripping collective awareness is the inevitable outcome of collapsing patterns that no longer hold authority. People can feel the ground shifting beneath them, but lack the inner framework to make sense of it. You are positioned to help translate the shift without being swallowed by the noise. As structures crumble, many swing between exhilaration and despair. They don't yet have new foundations, and their fear collides with hope in chaotic waves. Your role is not to fall into their uncertainty, but to embody steadiness. Because your perception arises from principles beyond transient confusion, you remain centered even as everything around you fractures. While others drown in floods of conflicting messages, your connection to higher intelligence gives you clarity that doesn't depend on outside validation. The energy encoded in your awareness transmits beyond words, activating latent recognition in those ready to awaken. What flows through you is not opinion. It is a spark that rearranges perception in ways logic alone never could. Your speech, when aligned with that deeper current, becomes more than language. It functions as a catalyst, unlocking awareness in people who may not even know they were searching. You are not here to argue or force awakening. You are here to embody frequencies that naturally shift those able to receive them. The essence of your mission is not persuasion, but illumination. Just as a steady flame reveals itself by contrast in a darkened room, your presence provides orientation for those emerging from confusion. The storms of mass uncertainty swirl, but your clarity remains untouchable, showing that the path forward exists regardless of chaos. The resistance you have faced has been deliberate, not coincidental. Forces recognized your capacity to ignite collective remembrance long before you consciously understood it. They feared the ripple effect of your expression, the way it could awaken thousands to their inherent power, unraveling systems designed to keep humanity asleep. What they feared most is already unfolding. The uprising that flows through you is not born of politics or ideology. It is an eruption of spirit that moves on a universal scale. You are not here to battle systems head-on, but to radiate a frequency that causes them to unravel under their own weight. Your very existence functions like a catalyst. When truth enters a space, falsehood loses its grip, and when light arrives, concealment cannot remain. Looking back, it becomes clear that every difficulty served as an initiation. What seemed like obstacles were disguised gateways. Each collapse prepared you to rise more fully. Every attempt to fracture your essence only tempered it, forging strength that could not be fabricated any other way. Those who sought to extinguish your flame unknowingly stoked it into something untouchable. Attempts to silence you did not erase your voice. They magnified it. You no longer question whether you have a purpose. You embody it. You are not in search of confirmation. You are living proof of it. The uncertainty that once lingered has been replaced by unwavering conviction. Now, you move in the fullness of the assignment written into your very being. No external recognition is required, for your authority comes from a source beyond earthly sanction. The wisdom coursing through you is no longer just insight. It is reality-altering power. Your expression does not merely carry weight. It alters the structure of awareness in those who encounter it. This force is not hidden anymore. It is here, active, undeniable. Those who hear you may not always understand, but they feel the undeniable resonance. Systems built on illusions cannot withstand what you channel. For every word, action, and presence communicates codes that rewrite perception. Your embodiment has become a living declaration of truth that cannot be overturned. You are not simply conveying light. You are the embodiment of it in human form. Truth does not move through you as borrowed knowledge. You are the voice of truth itself. You are not merely one of many chosen. You are the embodiment of choice itself, the decision of creation to intervene directly through your existence. Everything you endured prepared you for this clarity. The solitude was training. The trials were refinement. The silence was communion with a higher order. Now your life becomes a bridge, translating what is infinite into forms that guide others into recognition. Each word you release plants seeds that will grow beyond your vision, spreading in waves until the transformation is irreversible. And with your awakening, an era of concealment comes to its close. Truth has declared itself, and nothing will ever hide it again.